You gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gonna talk about it. No Deanna, speak that shit that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. I'm your host, Deanna Kent, and our other host, Xavier, is currently not here at the moment, guys, but he will be stepping in shortly. He is stuck in traffic, but no worries. I'm going to go ahead and kick things off for us today. But before we get started, you guys, please make sure you do us a favor and like this episode, rate the show, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of that good stuff. Leave us a comment. We truly appreciate it. And also, before we go into things, we are having a sale for a limited time only on our real estate and crypto, guys. So you guys go over to Millionaire Mindsets Academy and make sure you get both of those guys before the price goes back up. So getting into this episode, we have a very, very special couple, two people that I really admire and love everything that they're doing as far as entrepreneurship, family-wise, everything. They're just killing it on all fronts. They are the Hartzogs. Welcome to the show, y'all.
What's up?
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you having us.
Of course, and this isn't the first time y'all been on the show.
No,
it is actually the second.
2020?
August 2020. Y'all were episode 95.
95. Now you're up to?
We are on, 159?
Okay.
Yes, I believe this episode we're recording is 159.
Look at that.
There we go.
We was all on our couches back then.
Yeah.
On Zoom.
We were on Zoom, and look, now we're here
Now
in
we're
the studio.
Yeah.
They were
Y'all,
also in
local.
California,
we
too.
were
They
in
were still
now
living
we
there.
in Dallas.
Yeah.
Together.
Yep.
So much has changed. I could go on. But we're going to get into all that stuff later in the episode. But for those people out there who haven't heard our first episode, where you guys, let us know everything about you guys and explain your background, can you just go ahead and give us a quick refresher on who you are?
Okay, so as you said, I'm Jhanilka. This is my
Anthony.
husband, Anthony. We are from Brooklyn, New York, now living in Dallas, Texas for the past 6 years. We got married. We've known each other for over 20 years. First of all, we've known each other for that long. Got engaged 2014, married 2016, and then came down to Dallas. And since being here, we've entered a whole new world, if you will.
Yes. I don't even know where to start.
Go
Debt
into
payoff. Debt payoff is
we
the quick
paid off
one.
$114,000 of debt in 23 months. That's kind of where our story.
23 months, you guys.
23 months.
Yeah.
That's kind of where our story kind of started. And then what else did we do? We started.
Jesus, are you in the journey or what? So we side hustled our way out of debt. Basically, instead of cutting back on expenses, we just got a lot of jobs. In the midst of that, we started a cleaning business down here in Dallas, Texas, November 2017. And then once we paid off the debt, we really revved up on things and started to travel more, things like that. And we launched the course I think we spoke to you guys August 2020, so then we launched the course July, I think,
Sure.
2020, of teaching people of how to get their cleaning business up and running
without cleaning.
any homes.
And then have 2 rental properties. We just moved into our first home.
Yes.
Check them out.
We have a virtual assistant business for cleaning business owners who want to get out and scale their business as well. And I think that's it.
Well, yeah.
then-
So
I mean,
there's other things happening here. So we got the house at the end of 2021. Anthony retired from his 9 to 5 in 2021, and then we have a baby on the way.
A couple.
baby Hartzog.
Baby Hartzog in 3 weeks.
I didn't know it was that
No
close.
pressure. No pressure.
Okay.
Really, any day now is what the doctor
Look what
says.
can happen here.
But
I mean, that would be a hell of an episode. Y'all. Baby Hartzog came
ain't nobody
out.
topping that, right?
Ain't nobody topping that one.
But yeah, so that's everything in one, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say.
I got nothing to add to that. You got it all.
That's amazing, y'all. And first and foremost, shout out to Black Love, because it is just amazing to see what y'all do and that y'all do it as a unit and y'all have come so far together in 20 years in the game. That's the goal.
No, we wasn't together that whole time. We just known each other that whole time.
Just knowing each other, but that's still,
Yeah.
really amazing. So I want to get into let's get into the debt first. So you guys paid off $100K in debt in 23 months, which I mean, I don't know how you did it, but I'm going to let y'all get into that. But I also want to ask you on top of that, how you did it, but how has the wealth building strategy changed since paying off that debt? Because, the main goal when you're doing it is to, probably budget, just focus on paying that down. But what do you do afterwards? Like, how do you now build wealth?
Yeah. So after we paid off our debt, we were like, we got 5, 6, because we were throwing at least $5,000-$6,000 of debt every single month. And that's when the game changed for us. When the debt was paid off in that first month with January 2019 came, and we said, all right, we got $5,000-$6,000 that we don't have to put to debt. What do we do at this point?
Yeah.
We spent it obviously a little bit. We enjoyed ourselves.
Splurge a little bit.
At that point, we said, all right, now what's our next steps? Or we started putting more to our investment accounts. We were like, all right, we're going to start saving more for our future. We're going to start saving more for our first investment property. So that's kind of how that's kind of the difference now. Now we're taking our money and putting it to things that will grow for us in the future versus before it was just us raising our income just to pay off this debt.
Yeah, that was our only focus, paying off the debt. We could have done it faster because we continued, at that time we both were working on 9 to 5, so we continued paying towards our 401k. Like we didn't stop any of that. So we could have done it faster, but I was like, no, I just like, let's just focus on this. We still can have all these other things going while doing that. So
of course. And I mean, when you're doing something like that, it's not like a one size fits all. You got to kind of tailor it to your situation and just go from there. So for people who may be in a situation where they're trying to get their strategy together for paying off their debt, wherever the case may be as far as the number, what would you recommend first and foremost to get started?
budgeting.
Well,
maybe the first thing is finding out how much debt you owe. Because I think a lot of us don't even know. I mean,
People
that
don't
you,
wanna
or they don't want to know. You may know, like, okay, I think I have $30K on the student loans and 15 on a car. And so maybe putting your number together, it could be scary, but putting your number together to figure that out, what does that look like? And then I would say budgeting was a game changer for us. Like, we never were missing on bills or anything, but budgeting just allowed, what do you usually say, our money, like
budgeting allows you to know how you're going to spend your money versus people think about a budget as it's like, all right,
restrictions.
I'm constrained, I can't spend the money the way I want. No, a budget is you telling your money how you're going to spend it. That's all it really is. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to spend $300 on brunch or $300 eating this month. That's all it really is versus saying I can only spend $300 on eating and brunch and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's what I think about budgeting.
Because when we budget, it wasn't just for house expenses, right? So like you said, it was brunch, it was Uber, it was travel. All of that was in our budget. Because that's what we wanted to do. I mean, some people want to be strict and cut all of that out. That's totally fine, but that's not the life that we wanted. So all of that was in our budget.
So did you guys ever have any moments where you struggled a little bit or might have deviated from the plan? Like, how did you jump back into the flow of things without getting discouraged?
All of our deviation came from you.
Uh-oh.
I knew you was going to say that.
Don't put my sis on blast.
I always say that.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine because it's true. Because he's more of a straight and narrow. Like, once he gets his mind to it or towards it, he's like, all right, we're going to do this and that's it. Like, there's no questions for him. But for me, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Our family is in New York. Something is happening. Let's fly back. The biggest thing I think that we kept struggling with was like, well, we can afford, my thing was like, well, we can afford it, so what's the discussion? And he's like, because we can afford it don't mean we got to spend it. That was like the balance that we always had to.
And that's still the balance.
That's still the balance. Because I'm just like, what's the question? Like, it's not dipping into our savings. It's not dipping into these other things. So what's the issue? So that was our biggest concerns, I think.
Yeah. When it came to us, like, she's more of the traveler. So every time she wanted, it was always something coming up. It's like, oh, we got to go to New York for this. Oh, we got to go to Atlanta for this.
Somebody's
like,
trying to
bachelorette.
escape Dallas.
You always got to leave Dallas to go do something else. I'm like, you don't have to be everywhere. You can kind of, let's lean back a little bit. Let's get focused. But
and I'm like,
she got
yeah,
to go everywhere. She what to do. That was our biggest, that's still our biggest challenge today.
Hey, as long as you're working on it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Right.
So before I pivot into our next topic, I do want to ask, was 23 months the goal to pay it off, or what? Or did you exceed it or do it earlier? What was the actual goal?
So when we started, there was no goal. It was like, all right, let's just pay it off, right? And then I think within 3 months, we had paid like $12,000. And we were like, we may be able to pay this. And so then the goal became to pay it by my 30th birthday. And so that's what we did. We were going to Houston to celebrate with like friends and family for my 30th birthday. And so we made sure we paid a few days ahead, so it can reflect actually, because it takes a while.
But it's a post.
We wanted to say 0 for my actual birthday, so we paid it a few days ahead. And so that is what became the goal. And that's how we did the 23 months thing.
And I don't think it was really fueled until we were talking to someone and we said we want to pay it off by her 30th birthday. And it was like, that's just an arbitrary goal. Why do you want to pay it by her 30th birthday?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, that's her goal. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, all right, cool. We're definitely going to do this now.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what fueled us to do it too.
I love it. I mean, what better way to walk into 30?
Right,
debt
exactly.
free. Like,
Exactly.
that's a great
You don't
feeling.
really hear about that often.
You really
and
don't.
So that was, I mean, you don't even hear about people paying off debt. I mean, before we even started, I was like, well, what's the reason? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's going to be there. Like, that's life. You think your car or student loans are going to be there, so why are we even paying it off, really?
So let me ask y'all this real quick. Do you think all debt is bad debt, or do you think there's a such thing as good debt? Because that's a common, topic.
Ask him. I got to answer.
I don't give debt a personality trait. I don't give debt adjective, a verb. Debt is
Debt
debt.
is debt.
You owe it. The way you use your debt, it could be seen as good or bad, but I'd say all debt is debt. It's not good debt or bad debt. If you use debt to make you money, that's great for you. If you use debt and if it's a car or whatever it may be, that doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. So I don't think there's such thing as a good debt or a bad debt in my opinion. I think debt can be used to get to your goals a lot faster if you wanted to. So before we paid off our debt, I was very anti, credit cards. I was very we didn't start using our credit cards until when? Maybe like a year or two ago?
We didn't start using it again.
We had credit cards and we stopped using all of them. So we didn't start using our credit cards again until recently, but I wanted to make sure we had a good grasp on our money before we started saying, all right, well, we want to get points and all of that stuff. It's like, it really wasn't important to us. So to answer your question, I don't think there's good or bad debt. It's just debt, and the way you use it is going to it could propel you or it could put you further behind.
I agree 100% because there's so many different ways you can leverage debt.
Yeah.
I think the real problem comes into play when it's consumer debt, because that's when people really let it get out of control and they just let it stack up to the point where it's really hindering you from doing anything. But if you're using it for real estate, for instance, like how you guys are venturing into that space, it could be really helpful.
Yeah.
If you think about the percentage of people that actually use that way,
There's not many.
the numbers say differently. So it's always funny when people are arguing on like social media. Like if there's 100 comments, maybe 20 people in these comments know how to use that and leverage it. So what's the conversation? Really?
Yes.
Honestly, but people aren't honest with themselves. So there's that.
They're definitely not. We see a lot of that.
There's that.
So I want to get into something that's really, really important topic, because I know when we first talked to you guys, you both were working your 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
And now we got retired life going on over here. And that's the goal for everybody. Retire young. It's a beautiful thing. So I want to get into that. How did you know it was time to retire?
It was time to retire when Jhanilka said you could retire from your job. That was really it.
Because he would have been done it.
Say the
But
word.
I would have been left my job. But the goal for us, like this whole, I retired last year. We said in January that, all right, this is going to be my last year. And what really nailed the coffin for me was I had my best friend had passed, and I hired my best friend to work with me. He was my second manager under me. We had the pandemic. He was gone. And I kind of lost my job for my company too. It was like I did everything I wanted to do. It was like I hired my team, I hired my managers, I got them bonuses, I got them all the raises they want. I got people where they want to be in their careers at my job, and I couldn't go any higher. I was a director. I was the youngest director, youngest black director, youngest director overall, and there was nothing more for me to do. I was so focused. I was at work, focused on everything outside of work. I was like, I'm focused on the real estate, I'm focused on the businesses, and I was like, there's no reason for me to continue to be here.
Yeah.
So that was in January of 2021.
Yeah, we had that conversation that by the end of 2021 he would leave his job.
Yeah.
And so we just kept saying it, like, it's gonna happen.
Started
it's gonna happen.
family and friends.
We started telling family and friends, and they're like,
Making it
well,
real.
go ahead and do it. Because it's funny, because when we first paid off our debt and we were side hustling, maybe raising all this income, we kept saying, all right, whenever we cover our income, our 9 to 5 incomes, then we'll leave our jobs. That's that happen. Whenever we double it, whenever we're making this amount, so we were bringing in way more than our income for at least 2 years. And we're we kept saying we're going to do it and we're not pulling the plug.
But getting around people like you guys, it was like, there's no reason for us not to do this. It was like, what's holding us back? We got friends and family who are doing these type of things. So it was like, why? What's holding us back at this point?
Exactly.
So December came around, I had the conversation with my boss, and I was like, actually, he had a conversation with me.
I'm about to say,
he said,
start it up.
He said, he said, you mind if I just take this off the record? I was like, whatever you want to do. He's like, I was on social media.
We already knew where that was going.
I
know where we're going with this. He's like, somebody brought this to me. He's like, I had to discuss it with you because it was brought to me. And he said, I was on social media and I saw you doing great things. And I just want to know if your heart is still in the game, still in the game of the company. I was like, all right, cool. I know where we're going with this.
Yeah. I was like, whose heart is in any company?
Right.
I don't have my heart doesn't have to be in it full 100%. So I went back to Jhanilka and I was like, I think this is our time to make this move. And she's like, all right, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I gave them 2 months. I was like, I'm not going to leave.
Yeah.
You
were there for 9 years, so you was there for a while.
Look, don't y'all hate when they follow y'all on social media?
I was surprised. We was on Good Morning America. I was like,
years before that.
Yeah, before that, we actually had somebody watching Good Morning America that morning. I walked into the office and they was like, that was you? I was like, nah. I was like, and they was like, that was you. Let's not talk about it. It was kind of like this thing that was kind of hidden. People knew. Coming on a podcast like you guys, it's like people listen to you guys all the time. So they would hear us on different things and see us. It was like, is that you guys? I'm like, cool. It's like, whatever. I kind of left it alone. So we never really gave it any energy at work. It's like, I'm here to work. Whatever you guys see me doing outside of work, that's great. We can talk about outside of work. But that was pretty much it.
I love it. And before I ask my next question, let's welcome our co-host back. Xavier, welcome to the show.
What's up, man? I'm super glad to be here, man. My apologies, y'all.
Glad you made it safely.
Yeah, I was it was a crazy accident when the car was facing the other way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
that's
hopefully they good. Hopefully they
Prayers
good.
out to that man.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm happy that y'all here, man. I want to ask them. So did they try to talk you out of leaving?
Yeah, he said, my manager said, listen, if you go back and you think about it and you come back and say you're in it, you're 100% in it, and I feel like we can put this under the rug, leave it alone. And I said, I'm not going to tell you that right now. I said, I'm going to go back. And I literally guess I'm not going to tell you that right now. He said, you tell me right now you in it? I was like, I can't tell you that right now. So we went home and I literally took a whole week. And I came back, it was that Monday. I came back I came back Friday or Monday. And I was like, listen, I'm not in it. Yeah. And he's like, if you still want to come back, still want to do this, let me know. I was like, I don't think I can.
Was it hard to give up 9 years though? Being with a company for 9 years?
That's a great question. It was difficult leaving my team. It wasn't difficult leaving the company. It was difficult leaving my team. But I think there was nothing more I could have done for them. I literally, the last thing that I did for my company was I told my CEO I want to do a memorial for my best friend who passed, and I want to do a company scholarship, in his honor, and give it to somebody that kind of embodies who he was.
Who he was.
And they literally sent me the email this last week that they gave the award out, they granted the money, and I was like, that's the only thing I want to do before I left.
Oh,
and
damn.
they did it. So there was nothing more I could have done.
That's amazing.
It was hard to leave my team though, but the company, nah.
Yeah, and then the guaranteed income too.
That's
That's the part that you are.
She was like, stay until after the end of the year, so I get my bonus, and then I could go on. I could go on leave with her. But I was like, nah, I don't want to put my company in that situation where, I got my bonus, and then now, I'm not coming back after that. I was like, nah, we didn't want to do that.
Have you had any moments of regret since leaving?
Nah.
No.
I think I'm still trying to figure this out. It's still brand. I mean, things I'm doing now, I was doing it before.
Right.
But the only difference is now is I have the full day to kind of do it versus trying to spend that 3 to 4 hours after work or on weekends trying to do it all. So now I got a full day to do what I was already doing. So no regret so far. I bother her a lot more during the day. So
I also was telling him, I'm like, you don't have to be in this office 8 hours. You know that, right? Right. That's the point of you getting away from working the 9 to 5.
I was sitting there 9 to 5
every day since he started in January. He's there because I work. What's my schedule? 8:30 to 5. That's his schedule. What day I'm like, the point is for you to get out of there.
Exactly.
You don't need to be in there every day. You don't need to be there for 8 hours.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
But he's still trying to navigate.
I'm still programmed, I guess, where I got to be in front of a computer for 8 hours.
That could be beneficial though.
Yeah.
Getting a lot done.
Yeah.
He's definitely, I think also with our businesses now, we're trying to get a lot in order and get management in place so that we're not always doing this. So it's a lot of work
things happening right now.
Right now. I think over time it will slow down and he wouldn't have to be there.
I go outside with my dog. I play a little bit, but most of
the time
I'm in the office though.
Yeah.
You said you was getting 2 years of income before you left. So my question is, do y'all advise? What do y'all think about people that just leave without having like that
Safety.
proof? That
that it works.
That
they can keep
that
doing
they can keep doing it. What y'all think about that?
That's foolish. I mean,
Because some people be like, you got people that be like, just go on the limb if you believe in it.
like that, like that.
Just jump off.
I am okay. So I guess that depends because I'm not a risk taker at all. So
She's not.
at all. So I am not one that's gonna just jump off the bridge. I need to make sure it works. Like we had an emergency fund for 3-6 months, and then COVID came. I'm like, let's make this a year.
Right.
And he's like, you think that if you lose your job, it's gonna take you a year to find a job? I'm like, no, I don't think so. You're right. But let's just do that. So that's kind of like how I am. I'm very secure. I don't do any type of risk. So doing the businesses and stuff is already a big risk for me. So I would not quit a job just on the whim. But that's just me. I don't know if you have advice to somebody.
I'm the same way. Like I'll take risks to a certain extent, but I don't want you jumping. I don't want you quitting your job because you got a t-shirt business or something like that, and you want to make sure you're making some sort of secure income so that all right, this money's coming in month after month. But one thing I also realized is that you don't really need as much money as you think you need that to survive off of. So it's like, all right, you get that $10,000 a month, income, you could quit your job. Now it's 20, now it's 30. You realize you don't even need that 10. You probably need like 4 or 5 to actually survive and live a good life. So I think realizing how much you actually need to survive and making that, I would do that before doing anything, but she wanted to be overly secure.
Hey, I feel it though. And before we get into the next question, let's go ahead and get into the first ad of the show.
This episode is also sponsored by The Morning Meetup. One thing all successful people have in common is strong connections. If you're trying to break into the entrepreneurial world, you're looking to network with like-minded individuals, or you're looking to take your business to the next level. Currently, entrepreneurs from all across the country meet up every morning for a daily meeting from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern to start the day off right. If you want to join this community, there's never been a better time to try it out because for a limited time only, you can start a 7-day trial for just $1. If you're looking to get started with the Morning Meetup, you can go to www.themorningmeetup.com/$1 trial. And like as always, the link for that is in the description of this podcast episode. Congratulations on the baby. This is a big step. So, and also congrats, y'all on the podcast now too.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all. Make sure we got to plug that for the people that's listening, so they go support that as well.
Thank you.
So, like, what's it like now? Like, was all these new things, new changes? You know what I'm saying? You left the gig, baby on the way, another new venture. What's it like balancing all these new things at once?
I think we still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, the baby's gonna be here in like 3 weeks, so we're
Man.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that will change dynamics
that's gonna
completely.
change everything.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have a comment on the baby part yet. Things are slowing down now, like now that we're in the stretch of, but thankfully I've had a pretty good pregnancy, so I've been able to move around and do things. It hasn't really slowed down anything. I'm still working, stuff like that. But I work from home, so that's a little bit easier. The podcast thing I did not want to start because of the things that you just mentioned. I'm like, we get in the house, we have a baby on the way, like you quitting your job, like why would we start something new?
That's the perfect time.
You said it's the perfect time?
He does stuff like that.
No.
Perfect time.
I'm like, I mean, we've been talking about doing a podcast for
Right.
years.
I remember.
We just didn't do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I agreed that it would be a good thing. I just is like the time commitment. Do we have it? That was my biggest concern. And so what has helped us is to kind of like batch record. And so doing like 3 episodes at a time and stuff like that. And really planning it ahead, like me letting him know, like, okay, these are the days that I'm available. Other than that, don't come to me.
And that's kind of how we do everything, whether it even comes to like content or like our other businesses. Like, all right, we try to plan before we get there. So like our social media stuff is like, all right, how can we plan before she's completely out the game? So that, all right, we know we can't do IG lives anymore because she's gonna be gone. So how can we do like more? If we have more podcasts, we can put those out. So we plan in advance pretty well, but balancing it all is just really calendars, honestly.
Lists, calendars, whiteboards.
And we try to base it on like what's priority right now. So we know we got a podcast coming up. All right, well we know that Saturday, Sunday we're gonna be recording. If we know we need content, all right, that Sunday night we're gonna be making content. So we do a lot of batch everything, honestly.
Yeah, and then just being intentional about it.
Then you still got the whole family side too.
It's a lot to it. I want to ask you guys about the VA business for cleaners because you guys have done.
We on the same
we
page.
here.
That's what it's about.
But y'all have done something special. Y'all y'all have found a niche within your niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you took the cleaning business, killed that, and now you've made a whole nother stream within that. So can you guys talk about the mentality behind that? Like, what brought that about?
Yeah, so that's ziggyva.com. And we just stumbled across it, honestly. We were using them as a service already, and they were fantastic. We've used multiple virtual assistants in our cleaning business, but they was literally the best company that we used, and they were going out of business. The person who owned the company, he was a multimillionaire. We know him, and he was like, I don't got the time for this. Not enough money for him. And he was like, they was going to give it up. He was like, yo, we could take this business.
Well, we didn't say that.
I said
Anthony said that. I said no.
I hit him up. I was like, yo, if we took this business from you, like, what would it mean? He's like, just give me some money. I was like, all right, cool. We paid him the money. Jhanilka was like, yo, I don't want to run this business with you. She was like, this is going to be like a 70-30 partnership or like a 60-40.
I gave her a 60-40. I said, make sure you put on the LLC like that I only have 40%, you got 60%.
This is yours.
That's fine.
And our goal was like, I'm like, listen, if we already have them they were already running our cleaning business. Now we own the company who runs our cleaning business. Now we could run other cleaning businesses through this virtual assistant company. So now anybody so we got the course, we got our cleaning business, and we got our course, and we got our virtual assistant business. So where do you think our students are going to go when they need services? So it's just
Straight to the source.
It's a funnel.
Right,
So,
right.
and we wasn't even thinking about it that far down the line. Now we're seeing how our students go through our course, they get their business up and running. We talk about it in the course, and they kind of use our services because we knew how good they were. So that's how we kind of came across it. But it's been a life changer, not just for us, but for our virtual assistants, because it's black owned. It was a black owned company, still a black owned company. They're 99% women. We had one guy who was with us. Moms, we're keeping them, we're keeping them paid. So it's been life changer for them too.
I just want to say I want to give y'all a big salute because not only with the cleaning, y'all obviously extremely successful with it, but y'all got others making a lot of money. Like I said, that's what I like to see.
Our students are killing it.
Y'all got students that's killing it. Like I know Alex personally, and I see what he doing. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like that's the dopest thing in the world to me because you could do it yourself, make a lot of money, but when you got others, you helping impact other people's lives. That's like I love to see stuff like that.
Yeah, and we tell people all the time, he is not the norm student. Like he came. I was like, yo, and I want to do this. I'm like, yo, you gonna kill it? Because I talked to Alex a lot on the side before he even wanted to do this. I'm like, yo, you gonna kill it? And he started it, and he's like, yo, this is starting to work. I see it. He's like, I know I'm gonna go with this. I'm like, all right, cool. He came back. I was like, yo, and I did 200,000. I was like, what? We did. It took us 3 years to hit that. So we got some other students who are doing extremely well too. But obviously, he's the one that's just out there the most because he's on social media. But it is very important, not just for us to have the success, but also helping other people get there too. And they come to us all the time, like that I got my first book and I got my first this, and I still remember our first bookings when we got
or
those.
Students like they got 100K in a year. I was like, we only did like 75 in 1 year. But listen, that worked for us because that was our first business, right? We had no idea what we were doing. We still was working our 9-to-5s, and so we're like, this is a business on the side, if you will, right? But now, obviously, as the years has gone on, we've seen the value in it, and so the point is for our students to do better than we did. Like, I don't expect you to go the same as slow as me because I didn't have nothing to refer to. Now you got a whole blueprint. You need to be going faster than me. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So let's get into the course. So for someone getting the course, what all does it entail? Like, how is this course going to help you thrive in your cleaning business?
Yeah. So.
Are you just gonna go? Well,
it's not for everybody. I started with that.
Okay, you can say that. Well, the way that we do it, and the reason why we don't clean homes is because we connect contractors with the client. So the clients book us online, and when the job comes in, we send it to the contractors. They go out and do the job. We take a percentage. The cleaners get a percentage. That's essentially how it rolls. Yeah. But in regards to the course and what we put in, the information we put in it is just basically A to Z of getting up and running, from like your business entity part of it, LLC. Some people have no idea about doing that, bank account, that type of stuff, straight to getting your first client. How do you find contractors? How do you find clients? Customer service, clarity, knowing your why. Like, why am I even doing this? Because like this week, it must have been a full moon. We've had clients that cursing our contractors out, saying they calling the cops. Like,
and we also had almost 50 cleanings this week too.
Exactly.
That's
so
a lot.
the more cleanings you have, the more issues you will come across. Kind of with anything. So knowing your why and kind of sticking to it, and how do you hit that 100K a year. So we go through all of that in the course and more. We provide them with interview questions to ask in the interview, the job ad to post, the contract that they're giving the contractors that we spent close to $1,000 from. We got it from a lawyer. That's included in the course. So all of that is in the course.
And one of the things that we talk about in the course is like, we try to give you as much information as possible, but we can't give you everything. Like there was one student today that was like, so when I send them the contract, do you think I should use DocuSign for them to sign it online? I was like, yeah, use DocuSign.
I don't know, do what you want.
Like, do what you want to do. So we try to give you as much information as possible. Like that's not a question I would think about somebody would ask me, but we try to give you as much information as possible in the course too, so that you can be successful. Having all the tools that we didn't have when we started.
Were y'all ever doing, and this is the reason I'm asking this question, before y'all started the course, were y'all ever doing consultations?
Yeah. That's
Was that before the course though?
I don't know if that was before.
Okay.
But I think that we were doing consultations around the time we started the course because that gave us the blueprint for starting the course.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Because we were doing like a couple $100. It wasn't even a couple. Was it like $300 one-on-ones?
$400
one-on-ones. Yeah.
Y'all still doing?
Nah.
No, but the last time it was at 25. So when we do start it at 100.
Okay, I thought you said $25.
No, it was $2,500.
Please, no way. You must not know me.
So we use that framework to actually build the course.
And what are questions people ask?
And then we use everything that we learned in that 4 weeks to kind of get that up and running. So we used to do like the one-on-ones early on. And we use that framework to kind of build out the
was
structure.
just referencing the last time it was at 25 because when we start again, it will be higher than that.
It would be much
That's
higher.
what
Right. Understood.
Because the time commitment with that is just
because we do 4 weeks and we do one-on-one sessions. You got access to us via text, via email. Conversations when you need us. So it was just an ongoing thing. And it was a lot more time outside that 1 hour.
Right.
The reason I asked that question is because surprisingly to me at least, it's still so many people that's entrepreneurs that don't understand like how dope and beneficial it is to have their own course. Like it's a friend of mine that live in our building. I was talking to her one day, like she's an entrepreneur and stuff, and she told me she does $100 consultations for like an hour or something, or an hour and a half, right? 90 minutes, something like that. And I was just looking, I'm like, really? I'm like, why? And she's just like, why not? I mean, it's money for consultations. I was like, why not just do a course? And she was like, what you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean what I mean? You know,
maybe she's not on social media?
No, she is. She was like, so I started breaking it down to her, and she was like, whoa. She's like, I'm about to stop doing consultations. I'm like, you should. So she stopped. She just dropped her course last week. She did 14,000 in 48 hours. And she was like, man.
What have I been missing?
Right.
Digital money is different. Like,
different.
This is why Jhanilka doesn't want to do any more real estate. She's like, this ain't even worth it. But
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
I'll be honest.
She's like, this ain't even worth it. So we were definitely doing those one-on-ones early on. But when if we do get back to it, it'll be a lot higher. But that course just changed the game for us. Because all you're doing is answering the same questions over and over.
So you put it in one spot.
You put it in one spot. Now you don't got to go to Google. You don't got to go to YouTube. You don't got to go to whatever you search for. It's right there in the course.
No, seriously, because it's only you got 24 hours in a day, so nobody is working 24 hours in a day. So it's like you got to go to sleep. So how many consultations can you truly do in a day?
You can.
In a week.
You can sell a lot more courses.
You can sell a lot more courses.
And it becomes draining, honestly. Like saying the same thing, give me your all.
You try to give people like all the energy you have. Too.
Yeah. And some people showing up late. Some people just dry. You know, so it's just draining.
That was the worst too. You get the people that are just like they don't got the energy. Because we try to bring our energy when we have these conversations. It's like, yo, what's up? You know, blah, blah, blah. You got people, where you are. Tell us where you are. You got people who driving in the cars. Like, you pay this money. You pay 20. It got to the point where people paying $2,500 and you not.
That's how I know it's not enough.
Like, you in Home Depot. Like, we show up to our coach every single week, notepad in front of the computer, sitting there ready. Yeah. They in Home Depot. They doing this. Like, you serious?
Yeah.
So that's why the price goes up every time.
But speaking of a coach, what made you guys get a coach, and how do you guys? I'm pretty sure it is, but I got to ask the question. What was the benefits of getting one?
Well, shoot, the benefits were somebody to keep us accountable to our goals. We came in and we told our coach we wanted to do 100,000 in a year, and she laughed at that because we did 100,000 on our own.
Well, since we had started the course in July, I think by the time we were starting with her, we had done like 70 something.
We did like 70.
From July to February.
She was like, if you did 70 by yourself and you only want to do 100 with me, my job is going to be easy. So it was somebody that kept us accountable to our goals. and then also telling us and showing us what we were missing. Things that I knew, like, all right, we need an email funnel. We need to have some sort of larger funnel. We need to have some marketing campaigns going on.
Data.
Even though I know this stuff, we know this stuff, but I wasn't doing it.
Implementing it, yeah.
I wasn't doing it. Like, all right, I know we need to do this, but I never did
Collecting the back end, doing a text community, also having this, so many things that to help us to elevate our course. Like,
And our
did you
brand.
explain this more? Go on this platform. So things like that. And like you said, the accountability of every week having homework and because we weren't going to show up to our coach and say, yeah, we didn't do it.
Exactly.
Pay
right?
too much for that.
You paying an amount. You're like, I'm gonna show up and tell you what I'm doing in each. And we saw the return. The return was crazy, right?
Crazy.
So
our first year with her, we did what, 500?
500,000.
500
Our
first year,
goal-
1 year.
Yeah, our goal was, and that wasn't even a full
Our goal
year.
was 100,000.
Our goal was 100. We
Used
did
5X.
5, and
Yeah.
that started in May,
When we redid the core April.
April.
A
And
bit-
that was
you
middle of
redid it.
April.
Yeah.
April or December, yeah.
Yeah, so she was like, all right, that's gonna be an easy goal to hit, 100,000.
And that's just from the courses.
And then she kind of
Because we still have our cleaning
got the
business,
actual
right?
business.
we still
Got
have
the
our
actual business.
9 to 5.
and our 9 to 5s
Yeah.
and our virtual assistant business and our rental properties. So very diversified.
She came in and also was like, all right, you got to get off of, we were using Slack, or what was we using for the community?
For what? Oh, I don't Slack.
We were using Slack for the community. She's like, you got to use something that's more community based. So we moved over. It's like Mighty Networks, and now we can have live calls in there. So she's like, you also got to raise the price of your community. You guys are going in there often. You guys are doing 2-3 lives a month. You guys are giving all this content. You got to raise the price. And I was like, well, half the community's going to leave. She's like, yeah, but you want that half to leave. And they left, and we got more people back at the higher price, way more people. So now we have like 200 some odd people in our paid community. So she came in and was like, just kind of whipped us into shape.
Yeah.
And how did y'all identify the right coach though? Because that's tough for a lot of people.
I think when
did you hear her somewhere?
I heard her on a podcast. I mean, she was a co-host of a podcast, and I knew that her energy. I mean, it wouldn't be just me on this call, so I knew like that person had to be a fit for Jhanilka too. So she was even saying the first call, Jhanilka was kind of standoffish, and I was like, I knew that was going to happen because I couldn't have a coach that was a pushover that was going to let kind of Jhanilka do or not do whatever she wanted to do or not do. So, but I knew that person had to have some sort of flair or kind of personality behind them, and it was going to help. That was going to help us push us. So that was kind of like one of the major things I needed.
Yeah.
What about you?
I just went along with it.
She's like, I will see how this works.
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I was like, we'll test it out, and if it don't work, we're not moving on. That's it.
So for your coach, did you get a coach who was just simply business savvy, or did you have to find someone who actually specialized in what you guys were trying to accomplish as far as like e-commerce and things like that?
So it was she's just really like business savvy. So I do believe that you can have multiple coaches for different things though. I don't think you just need one coach for everything. So I know some people that have like, I don't know if it's called a mentality coach, but a mindset coach. People have mindset coaches, and then we have her. And so I don't think that one coach has to do everything either. But she is primarily like business savvy and helps coaches better develop like their programming and stuff like that.
I mean, Michael Jordan got a shooting coach. She got a fitness coach. She got a weight gaining coach. Like people always
Coach for everything.
Yeah, you gotta have a coach for different aspects of your life. Spirituality coach. So,
And how far into business were you all when you got the coach?
Yeah.
So technically she primarily just focuses on our brand of Hartrimony. So I guess we started Hartrimony. Well, technically we had a course on getting out of debt first.
Oh yeah.
Y'all don't have that no more?
It's still there.
It's up there.
It's up
We
there.
got a few sales characters. I forgot about this.
Yeah, and he kind of did that one on his own. But the cleaning business has been our biggest thing. So we started that July 2020, and we got her like February 2021. So technically quick into the brand of that. Now, our cleaning business itself has been started since November 2017, but she doesn't really help us with that part of it.
Okay.
So it's just
It's
really
like
the
the
online
online
brand.
branding.
Yeah, the online brand is what she assists with. So less than a year. Because we knew that we wanted last year to be a big year for us. We knew that we needed more help than what we could provide.
Right.
And so that's why we said, like, we've gotten this far by ourselves. We've gotten pretty far, but we wanted to continue to elevate. So that's the reason why we decided to look for a coach.
Makes sense. My favorite thing about y'all brand is I see a lot of people that preach about getting out of debt, but then it's like, all right, y'all got out of debt, and then what happened? It's like, are y'all financially like independent now? Like, what's happening after getting out of debt? But y'all story, you see, y'all getting out of debt, and now you see financial abundance. So you see both sides of it, which is extremely, extremely dope in my opinion to see. Yeah,
no, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I guess when we paid off debt and we were like, well, what now? Because it's like you had this goal, and you're like, what? And it sounds weird. Like we were like, what do we do with this money? People probably be like, what? What does that mean? I'm like, because we was putting all this money now. Now what do we do?
Yeah,
and that's when we. Just saying that's when we kicked off. Like, all right, we could do this. We can put our investments here. That's
it's funny that people find us now. They don't even know that part of the story.
Yeah,
really.
They just think they just know it's for a cleaning business.
Right.
And
Yeah, they don't even know that part of the story. They say, "Oh, we get a lot of people like new that just meet us, and they're like, they only know us because of the cleaning business stuff." So they'll come and we start talking about our story, and this is why we go live often because you always got new people that just find you or whatever. So when we go live, we start talking about our debt payoff journey. They're like, I didn't even know that was a side of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got new people all the time that just wants to know more about, all right, you were there, and it's funny, even people that are like currently with us, they followed us throughout the whole journey. They're like, all right, now you guys got a house, now you guys got a baby on the way. So social media is dope too.
Yeah.
People follow the whole journey.
Yeah.
I love that you say that because it's important for people to remember that you never stop telling your story.
Right.
So you're always getting new followers, and you have to continue to retell that story as the brand grows. Because I see a lot of people like, oh, I already touched on that. I'm not just going to keep, progressing. But no, you do have to keep retelling the story.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you guys a question, kind of aligned with the cleaning business and the course. So realistically, for the people who are listening and they're feeling all inspired by the episode and they're ready to jump into the cleaning business, realistically, how realistic is it to obtain $100K in your cleaning business within the first year?
Not very realistic.
You would say it's not?
Nah, I think it is. Because we did it way.
Why
I don't want people. I hate when people get the story and they want to come out like, I want to do that. Nah,
Yes.
I like to give people don't try this at home. Most of our students that are taking it seriously, they'll hit 100 because we hit 70 when we have nothing.
Right.
We had nothing at all. We were just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, and I think that I have to, what I tell people, it all depends on you. Like how you move ain't the same way I move. So I don't know if it's going to take you, are you going to sit on the course for 3 months and then try to execute? Or are you going to take it and get it up and running in 6 to 8 weeks? Right? Because that's a different thing. Are you going to be the one that's like, oh yeah, I had a bad review and then stop?
Yeah.
Had a bad day. I had a bad day, or a contractor calls out, so now I'm not moving forward. So there's so many variables as to, I don't know who you are, but can it be done? Absolutely. Like that's what I would say. Like it absolutely can be done, but there's so much more to it than just like getting there and knowing to push through the trials and tribulations, knowing that any business, it's going to be not so easy.
Exactly.
But it can be done.
Yeah, it's definitely attainable. And I think with us, when we first started, we talk about this story all the time. We started with a young lady out here, and she did like $200,000 her first year. But she was absolutely like drained from the business. If you scale quickly, you got to know how to. People say,
can you handle 100K in 1 year?
People like, I want to make all this money, but can you handle what that money's going to bring to you? Right. Like, so she got sick. She was in the hospital. She had to leave her job. Her husband had to leave his job and focus on that full time. So we tell people all the time, you can do it, but how fast can you scale? But if you're ready for that type of scaling, are you able to actually kind of maintain it?
Yeah. Because when we would like listen and hear her story, we're like, Zin, what we doing wrong?
We used to say that all the time.
And then we go to dinner with her, we're like, oh, no. This is, we doing it at our pace. This is fine. I don't need it to be all of this. You know what I mean? So.
Like somebody like George Pitts, like he's down here in Dallas. He's going to be down here in Dallas. He took our course. And he got his business up and running within 24 hours. Like the whole structure of the business. Like most people not going to do that. Like I didn't, when we first started, I didn't even know.
It's not going to happen.
Nah. He literally hit me up and was like, I got the course. He's like, I went through it and I got the structure down. I was like, send me the documents, send me everything. All this stuff was ready. But I didn't know how to form an LLC my first time going around. So I had to go to LegalZoom. I had to pay them to do it. Now I know how to do it now. But if you have that type of understanding of it, you could be up and running and going. Now we send people like, all right, you could do LegalZoom. You could do it on your own. You could do like LLCuniversity.com. But I didn't know any of that stuff. I had to figure it out. So it really depends on the person.
I got another question about paying off debt. But before you do that, we're going to go into our next sponsor.
Are you looking for a simple way to increase your monthly income and jumpstart your journey to financial freedom? We've cracked the code to Amazon's multi-billion-dollar marketplace, and we want to introduce this lucrative opportunity to you. It's called dropshipping, and it's one of the most lucrative ways to passively make money online. What's mind-blowing is that it requires zero inventory. Our DFY Commerce team has created a turnkey system to bring our preferred clients a 6 to 7 figure passive income stream, and the beauty is the process is simple. 1. We will build and launch your store on Amazon. 2. Our team researches, curates, and lists product for you. 3. We continually optimize your store to maximize profits. 4. Our team fulfills all of your orders and customer service inquiries. The potential is endless with DFY Commerce. We are strategically looking for serious clients who are equally excited and serious about growing their income portfolio and want you to get in touch with one of our DFY Commerce team members today. Schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, which will include a detailed revenue projection.
So my question is, if you all had to choose, which one is more important when paying off debt? Increasing your income or cutting expenses? You can only pick one. Which one?
Increasing your income.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's just because I feel there's but so much you can cut. I mean, unless you're willing to maybe like move back home with your parents or like you cut like that. I don't know how else like a cable or stop going to Starbucks. Yeah. It's gonna get you ahead.
Right.
Yeah. You can't. Your expenses can't ever be zero unless you're like a baby.
As an adult,
Like,
right.
as an adult, your expenses can't be cut to zero. So, but your earning income is always going to be unlimited. So I would definitely say focus on earning more money.
No, I agree because it just costs money to go outside. It's like every time I step out the door, I'm spending $200. Like damn, like what is money?
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely focus on raising your income.
No, because I see a lot of people. They'll say like I'll see some people. They always talk about cutting expenses. I'm like, man, like you said, you go to Starbucks a couple times a week, you might spend $20. It's like, how far is that really going?
Oh my God, how far am I
Inflation's
going?
so high. Like,
Oh, exactly. Like, what else am I cutting? Even if you cut the cable, now you got Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus.
Amazon
Like, you paying the
Prime.
same thing.
Add back up.
Yes, you paying the same thing. So I don't know how much you can cut. Like, I still want to go out to eat. Okay, like,
She definitely
I
do.
still want to, go to brunch.
Vacations and all that.
I still want to do these things. So raising your income would be definitely our answer.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, because I saw that y'all post this question on Instagram, and I thought it was a very great question. You said, should investing be taught in school? And I want to hear y'all personal perspective on the topic.
We say but I guess investing, there's so many variations of it, but just knowing what investing is, what that means, what you can do with it, what all those things, it's just not. You go to school and there's nothing about business, I guess, unless you take that major, a business major.
And that's only in college.
And that's only in
You don't
college.
really learn about business.
There's nothing
I was
about...
actually pretty good in business management too.
Okay, right.
I don't think it helped me at all.
there.
I don't think it helped me at all.
It is.
Oh, you're trying to say what they taught you was just
Yeah,
completely
I was pretty good at business management. It hadn't helped me at all. I
didn't
don't
help
remember anything from that.
Yep.
But I think, just investing in the different ways that look. Because usually you hear investing, I just think, at least back in the day, stock market.
Yeah.
It's the only type of investment I think about, right?
Right.
But now we know there's so many other ways that you can invest. So I think starting that conversation in, when can you obtain it? Maybe junior high school would be important. At least offering it would be important.
Yeah, I tell this story about my college experience. I lived in this house, and there was like 6 of us on the top floor, 6 of us on the bottom floor. And one of the kids on the bottom floor, his parents owned the whole building. So he was collecting rent from us. And I was like, if I would have known that, all right, I could have got an FHA loan, lived in one unit in the apartment building that we lived in, and had all my friends live with me, I would have done that.
Yeah.
But we don't learn about this stuff. Well, I got to be 30 years old to know about this type of investments. Why couldn't I learn that in college or even spoke to anybody about it in middle school? But I think that's why we're here having these conversations now, so that we can make sure our kids and our kids' start having these conversations at least a lot earlier.
Agree. And I think we also got to take into account too, though, even if the school systems won't change and add this information in there, kids are getting younger and younger and having more access to social media. So things like what y'all are doing and like with this podcast, they're getting the information way earlier than before now.
I'm laughing because he said kids getting younger and younger.
Oh, sorry. But I'm just saying, like, they're getting access to the information. Say, you can go.
We had did a
you did a thing with high schoolers.
I did a conversation with high schoolers, and they were like, all right, they gave them a trace of like who they wanted to speak to in regards to like what topics. And I think the topics was like sports, college, and entrepreneurship. And the whole class just came to the entrepreneurship session that I was on. And the guy who brought me in, he was like, yo, they probably going to pick you. And they want to learn about more entrepreneurship. I went in that class and they was asking some really good questions. And then we started talking about college. And I was like, how many of you guys are like really going to college or thinking about like going into business for themselves? And the classroom was kind of split. And I was kind of surprised that people are thinking about, entrepreneurship before going to college. Now I'm not pro or con either one.
Right.
I was actually very interested and intrigued by that. Like they're thinking about doing entrepreneurship because at that age, I didn't know anything about it. No. So I was like, that's super dope. So kids are thinking about it. They're getting it from social media.
Yeah, you see
it. Podcasts, and they're learning more about it.
Kids making millions off YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
You're not talking about Lil Ryan, are you? Because that boy that just opened toys. And
the kids feeling it.
The highest YouTuber in whatever year that was. I'm like, child.
Is that his parents or is that him?
His parents had to. I mean, they recording him.
Does he have a personality?
I never watched it. I don't know. Kids watch it though, and he was the highest paid YouTuber.
Yeah,
I swear. And he opened.
Was
toys.
like 28 million or something like that.
Yeah, he
like
opened
ridiculous.
toys, and then he started selling his own toys in like an
He has
egg
a product. He has a
all
service.
the toys that he likes.
Oh my God.
Turn that into a podcast.
I swear, and it became like a thing. Like it's hard to find.
Wow.
Oh God. Well, shout out to him.
There's always when there's a will, there's a way. In this day and
He's gonna be
age,
retired about 15.
Right. He probably retired now. 28 million.
right?
If I'm opening toys all day, I'm retired.
No, you're right.
He's retired.
He don't know it.
Do you even go to school at that point though? Like,
That's a good question.
That is
I
a
think
good
they probably try to still maintain some type of childhood, probably, but because he doesn't understand what 28 million is, does he?
That's true.
He didn't know his numbers though. Like, oh, this many people are watching me
Yeah.
on YouTube, but he doesn't get the concept of the money.
if y'all kid was making at 5 years old making 30 million a year, would y'all be like, you going to school?
They have. I think the law said they gotta go to school.
They gotta learn something. You gonna learn something.
I mean, but you gotta know how to maintain it.
Yeah.
They gotta.
Be here forever.
Most of you can learn. Just other ways to learn it though.
They gotta socialize too.
Probably doing homeschooling.
Yeah, they gotta.
Yeah,
I don't know.
homeschool.
They gotta socialize, but the law says you gotta teach your kids.
Yeah,
something.
they gotta
So
go.
They gotta go somewhere. Something gotta happen.
They gonna
I don't think you
I'd
can just be
homeschool.
like, nah, they got 30 million. They ain't coming.
They coming to school. I was just thinking, I'm like, man, I don't know if I would
Because
be
you
like.
think about that with celebrity kids. They send these kids to school, like the Beyonce, Jay-Z's, the Kardashians. They have a bunch of money and their kids go to school.
Yeah, that's a good point. But 30 million open the toys, I'm like, man, do you need school?
Do you need school? You might be more brilliant than the principal.
Yeah, at this point, what can they tell you?
No,
Nothing at all.
Seriously.
They can't tell you nothing.
But I want to ask y'all about this, since about marriage and working together. What's some tips that y'all can give people? Because I'm pretty sure people ask y'all this all the time. Having business together, getting out of debt, excelling. What is the secret to doing all this and doing it together?
I think one of the big things is that we started everything together. So neither of us had a business of our own and brought it to the relationship. Because then it would be kind of like, well, you got your own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. Yeah. This is my business. I may need your help. I may not. So I think that makes it a bit more difficult, but we've gone through every single thing together. But I also feel like personality is a big thing. Not every couple can work together. And you should know that as a couple. You may know, like, I can't be with my significant other the whole time. It's not going to work. That don't mean that you don't love each other or nothing, but you just know. You know your personalities. And then we also go based on our strength and weaknesses to help us within the business. So I would take care within all the businesses. So I would take care of the customer service side of it. He would take care of the IT side of it because that's just what works for both of us.
Background and systems, marketing, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what. Because
I can't deal with the people, man. I'd be ready to fire everybody all the time. Yeah,
really.
And it's funny because he responds to like 95% of our DMs. He says something, I'm like, let me hop in. I got this.
And I think that's just coming from our corporate environment too, because I managed 35 people at one point, so I know ins and outs of these headaches. So it's like I can see certain things that she may or may not see. So I don't have the same patience that she would have. And then also her background is
I'm a mental health therapist. So I do therapy all the time.
She talks to people, hears their problems. Me, I don't want to hear your problems. We talking about business. This is a business conversation. Let's keep it that way. Recently we had a conversation with one of our staff members, and they were talking about all these personal things. And I'm like, yo, we are sitting here talking about why you aren't picking up the phones. Yeah. That's what the conversation. I don't care about your mom. I don't care about your aunt. We talking about why you aren't picking up the phones. And then you got to remember, you got to leave that stuff at home too, as an adult. So she handles the people, I handle the marketing and all
Yang,
that.
that's IT stuff. That's a good balance right there. Somebody got to be the what's the word I'm looking for? The compassionate one, I guess.
Yes. Well, it depends. I think I'm more compassionate in some instances.
Some instances. I'd be like, no,
I can see that.
I
I would have thought Jhanilka was the cutthroat.
No, it depends. It depends on the situation. It definitely depends on the situation. Because I'd be like, no, that don't make no sense. Don't even do that. Like, why would you respond back? A lot of times he's like getting annoyed in DM. I was like, I told you not to respond. Leave it on red.
I'm like, I'll give them the information. Fine.
I'm like, leave it on red. Like, I don't gotta respond to you. I'm not forced to respond. So sometimes I'm definitely like, you gotta cut it. Because with him, business is always ongoing. I'm like, we got to end this here.
Right.
So that's how we make it work.
Do y'all ever feel like it gets difficult to keep like personal things out of business?
Personal things out of
Like,
business?
you know, being in a relationship, like, you know,
Right.
personal, everyday things just as a couple, out of like the business side of things when you got to get to work.
I think that it's difficult not talking about it. Like even if we do dinner or we go for like we do 30-minute walks now because she has to. But we go on these walks. Like I didn't realize the whole walk. She's like, you talked about business the whole time. I was like, yo, that walk was really good. I was hyped. I was like, we got a lot done. And she was like, yeah. I was like, you didn't feel this energy in the walk? And she's like,
No.
she's like, you talked about business the whole time. I was like, I didn't even realize it. Yeah. So that's the challenge. Like,
so then the next day I'm like, no
off.
business.
So I didn't talk about business the whole walk. I didn't recognize it. So that could be a problem. Like my mind is always going. So it's like, if I'm thinking about business and it's on my mind right now, I want to get it out there so I don't forget it.
Yeah.
So she's like, write it down, talk about it later. But I'm like, nah, I don't write it
like
down.
yesterday we watching TVs on the computer. I'm like, that gotta be done now.
Yeah.
It's 8 something at night. You just stayed in the office from 8 to 5. So now it's 8 something at night.
I had a contact who was only working with me at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm like, all right.
So that could be a challenge.
I'm like, all right, just wrap it up once you respond back.
He responded, I closed the laptop, I put it away.
No, you're right. So I think that's the thing. Like him, business is always on his mind. Me, it's barely on my mind. Let's be honest. Unless we're working in it, then I'm not thinking about nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about nothing new. I'm not thinking about the next day. I'm not thinking about nothing. But he's constantly thinking about. So just reminding him like, all right, you got to cut it here, or we're not doing that right now. Which I don't think it comes across rude of like, I don't want to speak to you about it anymore. But he understands like that he's always on that. So it's okay for him to be like, yeah, all right, I'm going to stop.
So that's a challenge.
So I want to ask y'all this, because I see like everything y'all doing is amazing. It's just like y'all building an empire, man. It's really dope to see. So like, what's the long-term vision for both of y'all?
Long-term vision. Shoot, I don't got that for you. Long-term would be, so I think long-term, like we just literally filled out our paperwork for our kid, like the trust, will, the estate and all of that. And I think that's what the long-term play is, like having these conversations with our potential kids down the line so that they know that they could come up in a better structure than we did. But on the business side, honestly, I don't know. At one point, I was like, I want to have the biggest cleaning company in Dallas, and then I was like, I really don't care for that. Right. So I don't know what the long-term vision is.
Long-term, I don't know. I know we want to continue to get more investment properties. We only have 2 right now, so we want to continue to get some more. And that's what I got right now. I really don't have anything else besides continue to grow the cleaning business. We're continuing with the courses, thinking of other ways to make that full circle, like we spoke about with the courses and then the virtual assistants and then
the
community and the one-on-ones and the groups. And so there's so much ways that it can continue to expand.
And then we see like other creators who like build whole empires around like what they do. So I don't see us being like the cleaning business coaches or like the world or anything like that. It's not something I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about the impact we're making. But I'm not passionate about the industry itself. Like you'll ask me industry questions about cleaning. I'm like, I don't care. I don't know. I don't need to know. I don't need to know.
I always go back to Jeff Bezos. I'm like, he doesn't need to know what's happening in the day-to-day.
So I'm passionate about, I think our long-term vision is continue to grow our worth and impact more people.
It was funny. When y'all was talking, I was kind of laughing a little bit because I'm like, man, I know y'all making money just because he said, I thought I wanted to be like the biggest cleaning business in Dallas, but no, I don't. And I'm like, once you start making money, you realize a lot of stuff that you thought you wanted to do. You're like, I don't want to do that no more. I'm really passionate about that.
Earlier, when you think about how much money you really need, you're like, it's okay. Because the more money I'm going to make, the more problems and headaches I'm going to get with other people. And so I'm good where I'm at right now.
I used to think I wanted all this stuff. I started making money. I'm like, man, do I really want all this?
Yeah. I want that headache.
I'm kind of like, right.
Like, we was having a conversation with, I don't remember who. I was having a conversation with someone. And it was like, how much money do you want to make a month?
Yeah,
and
you think
And I was like, yo, I would love to make like $50,000 in 1 month. That would be great, fantastic. Like take home. And they was like, all right, cool. And I was like, that sounded crazy. And then we did it, and
Absurd.
it was like, wow, okay.
Wow, right.
And it was like, the next day, it was like, all right, cool. And you realize that money is not as important as you think it is. It gets you a lot of things in life. It does solve a lot of problems. Don't get me wrong. It does solve a lot of problems, but it's not the most important thing.
You just mean like from a materialistic aspect. It's not, because that's how people see it. You talk about money, they just think of, I'm gonna go buy this, do this,
and then you get it. You
don't do none of it.
You don't do nothing.
You don't do none of it.
Boring.
Yeah. All right, you don't do none of it.
It's kind of like we paid off our debt. It was like, all right, cool, that's it. All right, what's next?
Yeah,
and that's how it is with money. But I don't think that's important. I think the impact is what's more important.
That's funny because I just did an episode earlier with a guest from New York, and he said the same thing.
Really?
He said, yeah, a guest from New
This
York.
morning.
He's from Queens. And he was saying impact. He said the same thing. He said impact is most important.
Yeah, I think getting those stories of, you changed my life. Somebody was like, I started my LLC. I never thought I could do this. I never thought I would see my name on a piece of paper that was mine. I'm like, that is impact.
Yeah. The first business owner in their family.
You just changed my generation with, this information you taught me. And I think that's way more important than, the money that comes from it.
That's a bar.
Y'all definitely have a large impact too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I just want you had any more questions before we wrap up?
No, that's all for me.
Before we wrap up, I just want to say, we've been chatting for a while about getting this done. So I'm before the baby coming, y'all gone for a while. So I'm extremely excited we was able to get this done. We don't take this for granted. We appreciate both of y'all coming through.
I appreciate
coming
y'all.
to the studio. Last time we did it was
we said August 2020.
Damn, it worked for real.
Yeah, we was on Zoom. That's what we were saying. We were on Zoom.
We was on couches on Zoom.
You guys were living.
We was in Cali.
Yeah. Y'all was on the couch and we was on the couch.
Yeah.
So much change since then. Like, that's dope to see. I can't wait till next time we do it. But before we wrap up, do y'all mind plugging all y'all stuff where people can find y'all, follow y'all, buy the course, everything?
Yeah.
So you can find our course on cleaningbusinessuniversity.com. That's where it has all the information that we spoke about as well. We also have a podcast, Hartzog Hustle Podcast, on all streaming platforms.
Got to get y'all on that too.
No,
yes.
we with it.
And mostly the Hartrimonies, where you can find us on Instagram, and that's at the HARTRIMONY.
And cleaningbusinessuniversity.com.
Yeah. Yeah, those are ways that you can find us.
That's easy to find. Cleaning Business University.
Yeah.
I was surprised that domain was available.
Right. I was just saying it. I was like, damn, really? I'm like, you must have the purchase.
That's to show you. People ain't out here ain't doing it like that. Ain't really teaching like that. So
Go ahead, D. What's your info?
And you can find me on Instagram at Deanna Kent, Twitter Deanna S Kent, and TikTok Deanna Kent.
And you guys can find me on all platforms at Xavier C. Miller. That's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. What else we got? TikTok.
Oh, we got YouTube too.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, you can follow them on YouTube too. What other platforms we got? TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Making sure I forget.
Trying to keep up with all of them. I know it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's too much, man. Just follow me on everything. And that's all we got for y'all on this episode. Appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode. See you guys next episode. Peace.
Gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gonna talk about it. No, Deanna speak that shit that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.